Welcome to the San Diego Business Journal's Community of Business podcast, covering all of the vibrant business activity in the greater San Diego metropolitan area. And now, here are your hosts, Kevin Leap, publisher, and Jeff Clemetson, editor-in-chief.
Hi, this is Kevin Leap, publisher of the San Diego Business Journal. We're here today with Dr. Moon from Kaiser Permanente Hospital.
Hi, Kevin.
And glad to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
And I am going to turn it over to our illustrious editor-in-chief, Jeff Clemetson. You have a conversation, and then we'll tie it up in just a little bit. But thank you for being with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes, everybody, welcome to the Community of Business podcast. And we're joined today by Doctor of Internal Medicine and Area Physician Marketing Lead at Kaiser Permanente, Dr. Richard Moon. Welcome.
Hi, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. One of the things I think we wanted to jump into is that a lot of people have heard this term, values-based care. And I understand that that is an avenue that Kaiser Permanente has jumped into full feet ahead. So I was wondering if you could explain to our listeners and our viewers what it is and what it does for them in healthcare.
Yeah, it's a great question, right? Because the term values-based care gets thrown around a lot. And yet I think at times it's very easy to forget what exactly it is and what it looks like. So we can kind of explore both of that. You know, values-based care in the simplest definition is an integrated healthcare system that's looking for good outcomes, the best possible outcomes, whether that's quality, service, and access. And Kaiser Permanente has been doing this for a long time now. I like to say that healthcare, the best healthcare in the United States now, the race for the best healthcare in the United States is being led by an 80-year-old, and that's Kaiser Permanente. And so what we've always done is values-based care. It first comes from integration, and that's our secret sauce at Kaiser Permanente, right? That means like the physicians, the nurses, the pharmacists, the clinic, the hospitals, all the staff, they are all on the same team. They all work for Kaiser Permanente. And when you do that, what you can, the illustration I want to give you is that I want you to think of a conference room where all of the members, the physician, the nurses, the doctors, the pharmacists, the clinic, and the hospital are meeting together and putting the member in the center and saying, hey, how can we do this differently, right? Given our current processes, given the new evidence that's coming out, given the new economic climate, how can we deliver even better care? The member, the employee, the employer has entrusted us with the premiums that they're giving us. How can we have the best possible outcomes? And so that's what values-based care is, right? It's really looking at it and saying, what is the best possible outcome? What is not values-based care, though, is also important to talk about, right? So the traditional sort of PPO, fee-for-service, right, has a different model, right? And it's I deliver, physicians in that system will deliver a service and then they will bill for it, right? So the more studies they order, the more that they can bill, right, from the payers, right? And they are separate systems, right? The doctors are different than the hospitals that are different than the payers. And so if you do more services, you can bill more. And that creates problems, right? Because some of those services may be unnecessary. They might be a duplicate. I just got a CT scan last week. Why do we need another one, right? And so I understand it, but the payers have to double check the work, right? And so they have to double check to see, hey, is this okay? And so that's when you get words and phrases like authorizations, and unfortunately, in some cases, denials, right? And that leads to fractured care, delayed care, and that's truly unsatisfying. But at Kaiser Permanente, we don't have that problem because it's all integrated, right? And so if the doctor and the patient make a decision about a study to order, it just goes, right? It just happens. The doctor orders it and it happens. And when you can do that and keep thinking about how to improve that, you get incredible results in quality, service, and access.
And how's the system evolved over the years? I mean, it sounds like this was something that Kaiser Permanente started as a business model 80 years ago. Yeah. And 8 decades later, I imagine it has grown and evolved.
Yeah.
Is there anything that sticks out in your mind in the ways things have changed over the years?
Absolutely. I think it was a couple moments. I think in 2024.
I said 2024, but it started in 2004.
Our executive medical director, Dr. Jeffrey Weiss, in Southern California, had this big passion and push to push quality forward, right? And I think at that time it was around breast cancer screening. And he said, we're at this, Kaiser Permanente is at the 72nd percentile. And he said, that's not good enough. We've got to push this, and we want to be at the very forefront. So he made this huge push and reorganization for we're going to be known for quality as our North Star, and pushed hard into that space. And safety came along, as well as, of course, accessibility, to make sure that happened. And then I think the next big step was the adoption of an electronic health record system, right? And that sort of turbocharged our DNA as an integrated system. Now we can see everything. So if you're traveling around Southern California or in the different areas where we have a footprint, that supercharged our ability to really see what's happening with the member and to make sure we not waste time doing duplicative services or unneeded services, but said, let's turn the page, let's go to the next step, right? And so that's how we were able to achieve some pretty amazing quality service and access accolades that we can talk about later on today.
That'd be great. And what did that do for like the ability to keep up with modern surgical procedures, advancing care through medicine and pharmaceuticals? Like the university hospitals always seem to be the most advanced, and they're the ones that were all this breakthrough stuff. Kaiser seems to have been somewhat competing in that area now, though, with those areas. And how does that play into this evolution?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because I'd like to challenge that what people have thought about Kaiser Permanente back in the 1990s and 1980s and what it is now, right? So you take that DNA of an integrated system and you turbocharge it with an electronic health record system, and then the integrated system says, how can we do this better? And the answers are, let's do research, let's push hard into that space, let's talk about the latest evidence and research that's coming out, and let's talk about what to do about that. What should we do now that this landmark study is here? Can we all row in the same direction to make that better for the patient? Because now we know. And when you have an integrated system with the turbocharged by an electronic health record system, you can now say, I know what we can do. Let's give those decision support tools to the physician. Anytime they order something, let's, put a menu down there and say, look, this is what I know you're ordering this study. This is what the literature says is the best study about how to order that, right? Now, it still allows for physicians to make that independent choice with their patient, right, about what they want to do. And so there still allows for, okay, I know that this is what the evidence says, but I'd like to, but there are extenuating circumstances that we need to still order that. So that's a decision between the physician and the patient, right? But in the vast majority of cases, that decision support tool, which is, again, being re-reviewed every 3 to 6 months, right at the moment of ordering, gives every physician the ability to be practicing at the latest forefront of what research shows us, right? And so we have data and research now that shows that we actually take the research that's out there, that's whether it's different healthcare organizations and agencies and their recommendations, and we can actually bring that into our electronic health record systems about 10 times faster than the average healthcare system can. So that's the amazing things that you can do. Again, sitting around and saying, how can we do this better?
That's awesome. And then how does the future technologies, AI, telehealth, how did that evolution and where do you see that going at Kaiser specifically?
Yeah, again, I feel like I could, I'm beating a dead horse here, but again, it's the integration. That's the secret sauce and ingredient there, right? So AI, technology, and innovation is definitely where Kaiser Permanente is also pushing hard into, not only into prevention and wellness, but also chronic disease, acute diseases. We have incredible outcomes, but also in the areas of AI and innovation. So our virtual medical center is a part of it. Another one is how we're using AI in ambient scribing and intelligent messaging, and also advanced medical center at home. I can unpack all of these if you'd like. In the area of the virtual medical center, it's literally you take your entire electronic chart and your doctor's with you in your pocket, in your iPhone or in your Android phone, right? And you can access 24/7 your doctor wherever you are, and have prescription writing. They have prescription writing abilities in all 50 states. So you can access them in the dead of night, Jeff, or you can also be in New York Times Square and have a small problem, back sprain, or maybe a lady has a urinary tract infection. We can get you seen within 30 minutes on your phone, get the issue sorted out, so long as it doesn't need a lab or an x-ray, and get that prescription to you at a pharmacy that's just 2 or 3 blocks away. All 50 states, where it's on 24/7. So that's amazing. That's a virtual medical center.
That's wonderful. And what about how does Kaiser do things like look at new drugs like GLP-1s and how they would assess how does this integrated system work to, as an example, GLP-1s manage someone's care, decide if it's the right path for them. I mean, that's one of those things that is, breakthrough. That's a brand new medicine people have been started using in the last 2 years. So what do you see in that?
Yeah, GLP-1s are an incredible topic that is very popular in 2024, 2025, and I think very much into next year as well. And you should be asking not only Kaiser Permanente, but every healthcare organization as well as the payers what they're doing about it. GLP-1s have a tremendous opportunity for success in the areas of diabetes and weight management, right? It seems to be taking off like the new darling, right? And it seems like everybody wants to try and start there first. And at Kaiser Permanente, we understand that in the ways, first of all, 80% of how we use GLP-1s are used for diabetics, right? And so there is a case scenario to use it for weight management, right? But we also want you to know that that obesity is a disease that is complex, and there are many inputs into it. And so sometimes what a patient needs is diet and lifestyle and exercise first. But if that doesn't work and they still need ways to lose their weight, there are many other generic medicines that people don't know much about, right? They've been there for a while. The safety is proven. They just didn't come around the same time as TikTok and Instagram, right? Medications like topiramate, phentermine, Qsymia, Contrave, and those do an amazing job in 5 to 10% of body weight loss. And then if there's still a struggle and the member needs it, GLP-1s are there too, right, to be used and to be carefully monitored and to see how they're doing. And I think that that's how you can carefully balance the fact that these medicines can have tremendous benefits and outcomes, as well as weighing what the costs are to the member and to the employer, right? How can we balance that? And I think there's a good common sense approach that looks comprehensively at what's going on with the member. And again, you can do that when everybody sits down at the table and puts the member in the center and says, what should we do about this medicine? How can we do this better?
And speaking of doing things better, being in San Diego, what are the things that San Diego is doing best in as a region and also within Kaiser itself?
Yeah, and I think you could start off, there's so many different ways that you could go. I think the first place you could go is you could start with the 1,600 physicians that we have in San Diego in 90 specialties. 250 of them were acknowledged in the October issue of San Diego Magazine as top docs. And you can find them right on page 2 on the inside cover. Again, Kaiser Permanente shares best practices. So what is learned well in and is doing very well, say in Los Angeles or Oregon, gets shared with us too, so we can implement that. But I'm so proud of San Diego because we ourselves are our own little Google lab, so to speak, that are generating innovation that I think we can be very proud of, and that we are sharing and our best practices. To go very quickly about that, there's the Center for Healthy Living, right off the 52 and 805, an incredible jewel in the crown for us in diet and lifestyle, wellness, tobacco cessation, obesity medicine, diabetes management. There's some amazing programs that we've brought out in mental health and depression and anxiety, and that was started right here in San Diego. Nationwide leading research, pushing the limits of the forefront of urogynecology is done right here in Kaiser San Diego, and is, again, nationwide leading. And then really cool programs with the No Sleepless Nights program for new patients who were very concerned might have an unusual mass or tumor, and helping them to quickly, carefully navigate the workup for what could potentially be cancer, and also offer a continued dialogue and personal relationship with our care navigators, our nurses, that help them through the whole program until they actually finish the biopsy and the workup and they have that first appointment with oncology. I think that's just a few things that we have there in San Diego that we're so proud about.
Yeah, and you had mentioned how the Kaiser integrated system allows for all centers of excellence to be instantly shared among all the Kaisers across the country, and allows for expertise to be shared instantly within a very large framework.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's pushed what you thought of Kaiser Permanente. You may have thought of it as just, prevention and wellness. You guys are just, broccoli and stretch bands and antioxidants. And it's way more than that, though that is a foundation for a good, long, healthy life, and prevention and wellness and screening. But when the chips are down, Kaiser Permanente in the last 20 years shines even brighter. So the statistics that we have are actually, if you have cancer and you're a Kaiser Permanente member here in 2025, statistics have shown that you are 20% less likely to die prematurely of cancer if you are a Kaiser member with cancer, compared to if you have cancer and don't have Kaiser Permanente insurance, you have another insurance. Heart disease, you are 33% less likely to die early if you are a Kaiser member with heart disease, compared to if you have that heart disease and you don't have Kaiser Permanente and don't have Kaiser Permanente as your healthcare insurance. Likely, very similar statistics for stroke, door-to-needle times, for clot-busting medicines, for sepsis. This is totally different. This is not the Kaiser Permanente that you and your mom and dad might have remembered. And even amazing stories about the National Virtual Cancer Center, where now if you're diagnosed with a really complex cancer diagnosis, and that you and your doctor, you want to get a second opinion, we can find a specialist for you within our system to get you a second opinion on the next steps, your workup, and your best treatment within our National Kaiser Permanente Oncology team in the National Cancer Virtual Center. We can get you that second opinion within 48 business hours. And now this year, we're rolling that out, not just as a written report, but actually as a telephone or video appointment if you want to. I mean, that's crazy. And you can do that when you're saying, okay, we're an integrated system. Let's all put the healthcare records in front of us, and let's row in the same direction.
Yes. And so what about the ability of the virtual medicine to have these outcomes that you just mentioned?
Yeah, absolutely. I think telehealth has an interesting reputation associated, right? There's those that say, that's awesome, I love it. And then there's people that say, I don't like it, right? And so we're so proud of our system because it's integrated with your chart. So when you take your doctor and your chart with you in your phone when you're traveling, the satisfaction scores are going to be amazing because we know exactly when you're logging in and you're talking to your doctor, they know everything about you, your allergies, your medication, your most recent visits, your imaging studies, what's been going on so far. So it's just, immediately goes to what is the next step, what's happening now. And so that's why the net promoter scores of satisfaction are completely unrivaled. The net promoter score is 86. That's higher than, say, Teladoc, which is running these days around 16, Coca-Cola, which is about 39, Apple and Amazon, which runs, depending on who you're looking at, 49 to 73 as their satisfaction rate. This virtual medical center on your KP app runs 87. That's crazy good. So the satisfaction results are amazing. So to have access that is good quality, incredible safety, accessible, welcoming, and convenience is pretty crazy. We're very, very happy about it, very proud about it.
Dr. Moon, this is Kevin. I have a personal question for you that I think is probably relative to a lot of people out there. I actually have physical therapy appointments scheduled.
Yes.
And they want to do it via video. And I'm just curious as to how physical therapy would work over the phone?
Actually, you know what? I'm going to share something with you. I'm glad you brought that up. And actually, my wife said it's okay to share. So I want you to know that first.
All righty.
So she actually has some back pain issues because of her love of bicycling and then some accidents where she fell a little bit. So she had some back pain. And she loves the physical therapy experience. She raves about it. And so one of the first things is the check-in process. She checks in a full day before, just like you would with your airline, right? And so she was actually able to show up and check in one day before. And then as she checked in and got closer to the parked and then got closer to the clinic, it told her, "Oh, I see you're here." Right, on the phone. Why don't you go up to the third or fourth floor at the Garfield Medical Center, right? And then she was seen for a physical therapy. Had a number of physical therapy appointments. Had reminders to do the exercises, and they also gave her exercises not only in the physical therapy clinic, but a whole robust set of exercises that she could do at home. And let me tell you, she was very, very religious about it. So both in person and also virtually, right? And that's pretty amazing. And then the ability to say, hey, this is not, and if I'm having trouble and I'm not progressing the way I wanted to, I'm doing better here, but I'm not doing better here. To be able to follow up with their physical therapist again, or to push a message to the primary care physician on your KP app and say, hey, can I go see physical medicine, right? And so, for one part of it, she did need to go see physical medicine, and she saw a physician there to help figure out, what else do we need to do? What else could we do here, right? And it's seamless. There was no referral or waiting for a referral. It was, it was done pretty quick. And in Kaiser Permanente, because we're an integrated system, our denial rates on claims are less than 1%. But what's most amazing, and I think, when we talk about referral processes, I think it's also interesting, is the wait time for it, right? While it's being screened by the payer.
Right.
And we have a new program that we're excited about. It's called direct booking. And it's not all appointments, it's not all referrals, but right now at this point, it's running about 40 to 50% on average, meaning that 40 to 50% of the time, if you and your doctor leave the exam room with the agreement, I think you need a referral to allergy, or to neurology, or some medical or surgical subspecialist, 40 to 50% of the time, literally when your doctor orders it, you leave the exam room and you're getting your paperwork to check out with the LVN, he or she will probably hand you a phone 40 to 50% of the time and say, do you have a moment? It's allergy. They'd like to know what times and dates work well for you next week. And so direct booking is another part that we're really excited about, really kind of cutting out the red tape, the bureaucracy, the administrative stuff that just slows healthcare down, and say, let's do what's right by the member. Let's do right with the patient. How could we do this better, right? And so how can we push that to the next step? So direct booking is something that we're really excited about. It's never going to be 100%, but right now we're at 40 to 50%, and it's going to push north the year after that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. And the success of the virtual is also the success of the physical hospitals, which in San Diego, Kaiser has many facilities, including brand new ones right up the street from here.
Yeah.
Why don't you run through for our listeners and our viewers, what the physical locations are and what they bring to the community?
Yeah, so we'll start, as a hospitalist, I have to start with the medical centers that are near and dear to my house, near and dear to my heart. Zion Medical Center down by Grantville, San Diego Medical Center by the Claremont Mesa area, and then very proud of our new medical center, San Marcos Medical Center in North County, right near Cal State San Marcos. And on the San Marcos campus with primary care, medical, surgical subspecialties, we have urgent care at Vanderveer, San Diego Medical Center, and also San Marcos as well. And I have to get back to you on this stat, but we have over 20 medical office buildings as well and satellite sites all around the county. We also have target clinics. And again, if that doesn't work within your time and your schedule, the best thing you do is, you can stay at work, and if you're in your cubicle, you can pull out your phone and then access Get Care Now. Open the KP app and push Get Care Now, and it will actually tell you how many minutes the queue is, right? And it's almost all the time less than 2 hours, right? but many times it's much shorter than that. So then you can click it. As long as you don't need a lab or an X-ray, you can get care pretty quickly. That is actually able to resolve the issue. We find that there's about 85% resolution on that, and there's very few needs for primary care follow-up. And to show the quality is high, we actually measured in San Diego how many of those members who use Get Care Now needed to go on to emergency room or urgent care in the 72 hours after asking for help on Get Care Now with a doctor. It's less than 3%, right? That's crazy good. So that means that you're getting your issue resolved. So there are physical sites, but they're also virtual too, 24/7, all 50 states.
Wow. Well, thank you, Dr. Moon, Dr. Richard Moon, Doctor of Internal Medicine, Area Physician Marketing Lead for Kaiser Permanente. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Well done. And Dr. Moon, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And thank you all for being with us at our Community of Business podcast. If you'd like to join us at the San Diego Business Journal as a subscriber, our phone number is 858-277-6359. And or you can email. You can find my email address in the newspaper. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Have a great weekend.
This has been a podcast from the San Diego Business Journal, the Community of Business. Keep watch on the journal's website, sdbj.com, for this and other podcasts, past and future. Copyright San Diego Business Journal, all rights reserved.